This, for those of you who don't know me, I'm kind of a data geek, and this kind of thing is very exciting. It's taking technology tools and enabling us to do exactly what our mission says we're supposed to be doing, which is connecting, educating, and advocating for the profession. And the connections part of this, maintaining stronger communities, is more important than ever. And I just wanted to say thank you for being on this program today and helping us serve as cheerleaders for this wonderful development and the next upgrade of the community. So I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to seeing you at an event soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, and welcome. Oops, so go ahead, Mary.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mark. I just was going to introduce you. Mark is going to, again, Della Pietra is our Vice President of Education and IT, and he has worked on this transition to the new MySMPS platform, and he will be presenting the changes to you today. So go ahead, Mark.
All right, thanks, Mary. So before we begin, I just wanted to talk about what we're going to do today. As far as the agenda goes, oops. Okay, so we're going to do a brief tour of MySMPS, talk a little bit about some of the new features and why staff is very excited about it and why the board was willing to let us go ahead and make this transition. And then we'll get into some of the details about the implementation schedule, what's going on with chapter communities, library transitions, all of that. So, but before we begin, let's take a quick look. So here is the new MySMPS landing page. It's a much cleaner, much fresher look than what is current. And there's a lot of updated content on the home page. So I just want to draw attention to some of these widgets here on the main screen. The first one is the quick links box up here. It's quick access to a lot of the communities. Down here in the middle is a My Communities widget. And what that shows is all of the communities that you're a member of. So without having to go into some sort of navigation menu, you can quickly get access to the communities that you're looking for. Down a little farther is the recent shared files. And as people are sharing files through discussions or uploading them to document to the libraries, they will start appearing here. So you can see what people are sharing and what documents are being added to communities that you're a member of. And then over here is a cool thing. I'm logged in today as Andrew Weinberg, and he is one of our power users because we are logged in as him. But there is a point system going on in the background. So depending on how much people are contributing and writing and uploading documents and filling out their profile and all that kind of stuff, there's a point system associated with that. And as people are doing more, they will start, there are different levels of contributors, and you'll start to see the power users here on the navigation page. And the other cool thing I wanted to show off real quick is over here on the right is the job bank. There's a job bank widget. So this is connected to the SMPS job bank and shows a lot of the jobs, and you can click right through and find the full details. So with that, we'll go to Andrew's profile. And here is the new profile form. And what you'll see here, just below his photo, let me do the highlighter, are badges. And so based on various positions that you hold and various designations that you hold, you'll start to see badges show up, and those are automatic. Down below here are the communities and the networks. So communities, again, is a quick list of communities that you are a member of. And the networks are based on demographic information that is part of your profile. So you can see here with Andrew, he's part of the New York City network. He's part of the engineering network and the firm size network. And we'll get in, I'll show you an example of that demographic information in a moment as well. Very quickly, there is the V card here right below his contact information. So if you find somebody that you are interested in contacting, it's very easy to add them to your contacts and download their V card. A little farther down are connections to LinkedIn and Twitter. So you can, like the current MySMPS, you can have your Twitter feed show up here. The cool thing with the LinkedIn one is you can bring in your LinkedIn information, and it will populate in here in MySMPS, and it will also, if you have your photo in LinkedIn, it will automatically populate with your LinkedIn photo. So getting into the communities, up here under the navigation, you can go to My Communities. And here are the members, the communities that Andrew is a member of. And because I think it has library items, we'll go to the PLS, the President's Leadership Symposium Committee. Andrew was the chair this year, so he is part of this national committee. And so what we'll show here is you'll see there's a description of the community, and that's completely updatable. Again, the latest shared files, just like on the main page. And then as you get into the library, you'll see the navigation. What I hope you've noticed already is that the navigation and things are moving a lot faster than the current MySMPS, and we're excited about that. But the library should be a lot easier for you to use. You can have, if you upload photos, it will create an automatic gallery. I'll show you a YouTube video. It will play right here embedded in the library, so you don't have to go back to YouTube. It'll play right here, which is great. And let's see, the navigation here. Again, you can get into the members of the community, and you can see other members of this community. The other thing I wanted to get into was the directory, and I know this is a feature that a lot of people use. Obviously, you have the very traditional first name, last name, but there's a lot more detailed searchable criteria now. So whenever you renew or whenever you join, SMPS asks for a lot of demographic detail, and all that's part of your record on the main SMPS webpage. And all of that is now part of MySMPS as well. So it's all searchable right here. So if I were looking for a firm in California that is an architecture firm, and as we scroll through here, under community facility types, let's say we're looking for an elementary school specialization, and I need a women-owned business enterprise. And when I hit search, and there it goes. Here's James in California, and I can get James's contact information. I can see down the middle his demographic information. So again, you can see the firm's primary discipline of architecture, the facility types that they offer, and their geographic location, and any of the federal certifications that they might offer. The last thing I will show you before we get into the implementation, and obviously I'm going a little quick here, but I wanted to get through this preview, and what we'll do is you're welcome to log in to this site in a minute. The Marketing Resource Center has carried over. It's always been a very popular part of MySMPS. The library has maintained. So again, you see the folder structure. You can see build business presentations from various years, and then the individual session files. There's a great searchability. You can obviously search on keyword and term, but there are also specific tags that we're working on populating in the Marketing Resource Center. So say I was looking for a job description. I could click job description and hit search. And now here are all the job descriptions that are in the Marketing Resource Center currently. And then I can click through if I wanted a senior specialist. Here's the description, and then the document that I can either open or download. And one new feature that has never been part of MySMPS is the glossary. What we've done here is we have brought in the glossary from the marketing handbook and uploaded it in here. So all of those definitions from that handbook are included here. And any member of SMPS can come in. If they want to contribute to add to that that definition, they can. They can add new ones. I can go in here and edit it if I'd like to, and give it a little bit of information. I say, it needs more definition, or please somebody confirm that this is accurate. I won't update that now, but it will show that definition history so that you can see that as well. So that's just kind of the 30,000-foot overview of MySMPS. Now let's get back into the actual nuts and bolts of the transition. So the timeline. What we're looking at is May 31st is the first deadline, and we talked a little bit about this at PLS. And right now, SMPS staff is moving library items over from the current MySMPS to the new one. We tried to find a more efficient way of doing it, but unfortunately the best option was just to move every individual document. So it's a big task, and what we're saying is after May 31st, if you need to upload a document to MySMPS, we ask that after June 1st on, you just make sure that it gets caught over. We'll try our best to make sure that we get those new documents, but I would encourage you to stop uploading around May 31st, and we will do a check and make sure we've got everything then. And then from then on, hold it until we get into the soft launch. So on July 31st, we're going to do a soft launch. We'll invite a segment of the members, probably chapter leaders and some other, CPSMs or fellows or some of those more engaged members to get in and start completing their profiles, checking it out, searching, doing some updating to the libraries and calendars, adding your calendar items, that kind of thing, so that we can get a little bit of more data in there before we do the full launch. And we'll do a really big push at conference and at Build Business in July. And then just after the conference, we'll do a big push for members beyond those that were at conference. The two sites, MySMPS and the new MySMPS, will run simultaneously for a period. We're looking at about 60 days. So we're tentatively looking at October 1st as kind of that final cutover date when the current MySMPS will not be available any longer. So if there is some time for you to go back, if we missed a document or there's a message or something that you want to bring over, you can certainly do that. So chapter communities. Mary, I think you were going to talk about chapter communities.
Yes, thanks, Mark. The chapter communities, as you know, a lot of the chapters definitely have, a large percentage have a board of directors community, which we've encouraged you to do, and you've used the library as a repository as well as your communication tool to your board members. We have also created communities for each chapter so that it's separate from the Board of Directors community. It's for your chapter's members to utilize. We have created those communities, and we'll get into a little bit more of the detail of whether or not we show or hide that community for you. Again, it's there, and we'll have to decide on who that moderator, or what we now call administrators of those communities, who that person will be. And Mark has created a form that we'll be sending out to you that will help us get that information from you. But we don't have to show the chapter community right away. That is something that you can work on or build up to, but we will have them created for you. Chapter communities, again, are linked to SMPS database and are automatically maintained. So any member that joins or is dropped off, again, because it's linked to our database, will be added to your community automatically based on their chapter affiliation. And again, if the person does not renew or drops, they will be blocked from the community as well. And this is the same for the Board of Directors community. Those communities will be linked. So if we have the Board of Directors in our database, based on the list that you send us, they will have access to your Board of Directors community as well. Each chapter includes a combination of any of the following. The features that you'll have for each community is pretty much exactly the same as the old community. You'll have the discussion, the library, and the calendar. The discussion is what used to be the listserv, your email communications that will be saved in that area under discussion. You'll also have a library, and again, like Mark said, we've been working to move that information over for you. And then the calendar as well. If you want to use the calendar for your board of directors, of course, that information will not show on the main calendar because it's a private community. But if you do have your chapter community and you're using your chapter community and you put on the calendar your chapter's events, it will feed to the main calendar, and those events will show. And Mark, the calendar is much more friendly than it used to be in the way that you could search. So you can just search for calendar items that are in your area or search by different chapters or states. Mark, you can add on to that if you want, but the calendar is much more robust now and easily searched. So please, and again, please review items included in your library. I know we sent out several messages to the moderators and to the community leaders about looking at your library and just making sure that the items in there are items you really need to keep. We all know that even on our own PCs, we might have an agenda from a meeting that was 2 years ago, or we might have, minutes are obviously very important. Agendas are not so much important. And you also want to make sure that you don't have financials and things like that in your chapter communities. We did notice a few of the regular chapter communities, not your board communities, but the chapter communities had financial information and looked like to be documents that should be not be listed there. So make sure that you do take a look at that information and you remove it. Again, prior to May 31st if you don't think it needs to be there. So, Mark, is there anything you need to add to this?
No, and I should have shown the calendar, and after we get through these slides during Q&A, we can certainly do that if people would like to see that real quick. We don't have, I think we only have 3 events on there, but I can certainly show it. And Mary's right. In moving documents over, and even after things get transitioned, take a look at the ones that are in the overall chapter library. We have noticed some documents that we don't think that you probably want to share with the whole entire, an event closeout that shows profit and loss kind of probably isn't something that you want every member in the chapter to see. So just be careful of that kind of thing, and and like Mary said, do some spring cleaning if possible, especially once we get into the new. Once everything's been transitioned, you can certainly go back and delete then as well.
And Mark, I just want to mention real quick, we will be taking questions at the end, but if you want to raise your hand, if there's something that you need to ask right now, please raise your hand using the toolbar, or you could just type in a question, but we will make sure we'll allot at least 10 minutes at the end for questions.
Sure. So the library transition, as I said, staff is moving over all of the libraries so a few months ago, a lot of you probably got an email from me asking you to, here are the chapters that are associated, the communities that are associated with their chapter. Take a look. A lot of you got back and said, we don't need this one, we don't need that one. So if any of those communities that we didn't hear back from you, or you said, please keep, we are moving those libraries over. Staff has moved over approximately 2,000 library items so far. We've got more than that to go, and so we're still working on moving those over. So as you start getting into MySMPS, even during the soft launch, there might be areas where some of the libraries are still being populated and they might not be there. Don't panic. We're working on it. And like I said, you can certainly go in and clean out ones from the current MySMPS, and Mary will get on that last bullet about the very large documents. The one thing I do want to talk about is copyright violations. We've found quite a few chapters who have Xerox copied a book or taken the CPSM study guide and put it into their chapter libraries. Those documents we are not moving over. SMPS takes copyright very seriously, and so we are not going to be moving those documents over. And we encourage chapters to not violate copyright laws by doing that kind of thing and copying books and putting them in their libraries. So Mary, you want to talk about the large ones? Yeah.
Sure, and I was just going to say to that copyright, if you want to place a link in your library to the copy of like a specific book or a copy, and not a copy, but a link directly to the study guide so that they can easily find it in your library, that's fine to place the link there. But to copy or photocopy something and then put it in your library, that is a violation of copyright. So just wanted to mention the link thing.
Yep.
Again, all libraries we did again look at all the board of director, the chapter board of director libraries, and there were close to 10, I think, that had over 200 items, or I should say library items. Some were upwards of 700, 600, 700 documents. Again, because we are moving these over and, again, looking at these libraries and seeing exactly what's in there, we do notice that a lot of the stuff, again, we want you to use this as a repository. We encourage you to do that. But we also want to make sure that the items that we're moving over are pertinent historical documents for you. Again, meeting minutes, things like that. Of course, anything that relates to, you know, a sponsorship letter or something you want to keep for your board. A lot of documents are things that you want to move over, but we did notice quite a few that aren't necessary. Maybe a lot of large images, like if you have old logos, things like that. So those chapters that have higher or more than 200 documents, what we're going to do is, if you can, you'll get up, I think the date for them to minimize it, if they can, to 200 would be, is that May 31st? Mark?
We can give them until June 30th.
So until June 30th, if you can, again, have your champions of your board of directors community go in, take a look at the libraries again, see if there's a way that you can get it down to 200. And if you cannot, that is okay. We will just simply create a zip file, and we will move that zip file over to the new community. And then from that point, you can unzip the files and then move it into their separate folders. But with that large quantity, and we only have, again, out of the, I would say, 50 chapters that have a board of directors community, I think only like 7 have over 200. So again, it just won't affect the most of them. But we will create a zip, and we'll move that onto the new community, and you can unzip it there. So we're not saying we're not going to move over your library if you have 700 items. We will move it over, but it won't be moved over as we've been doing for all the others, and by creating the separate folders for you, the subfolders, and then moving each document individually over. So that is it on that, but you can certainly reach out to me if you want to discuss that further, and I will also be reaching out to those specific chapters that I know are over that 200 mark.
Great, thanks, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
So what will not be transitioned? So unfortunately, we tried to figure out a way of getting the community messages, the listserv conversations that have been going on. We tried to find a way to get those to transition over. Unfortunately, it's not going to be possible for us to transition those discussions. So just wanted to give you a heads up. You can certainly, once we transition, if there are messages that are saved in your Outlook on your computer, you could certainly forward them to the new community address and get them in that way. But unfortunately, those will not transition over. Again, profile photos, we couldn't download those and upload them as well, and calendar items. Obviously, a lot of the calendar items are in the past. So what we will do is for the main SMPS calendar, we will, the regional conferences and national conference, that kind of thing, we will move those over. But for individual chapter libraries, you will need to recreate your events in the new MySMPS. But it's a fairly easy process and a lot speedier than it is on the current MySMPS. So request and next steps. Log in. You're welcome to log in anytime you'd like and start poking around and see what's going on. Your username and password are the same when you go to the new MySMPS, and it is my.smps.org. Eventually, when we go live, we will create it so that you can go to mysmps.org and it will take you, but the new address is my.smps.org. Your login information is the same. You'll click login. It'll take you to the same window that you type your username and password on for the SMPS site. So you're welcome to get in anytime. Once the library transition is complete, and we will email the chapter leaders and let you know when that is complete, please go in, check, take a look at the current MySMPS library, see how many documents are there, go to the new one, check and see how many documents are there, and just take a look and make sure we haven't missed anything. If there is a discrepancy, chances are it's probably because there was something that was a copyright violation that we weren't going to move over. The other thing that we will ask you to do, and like Mary said, we're working on a form to have each chapter fill out. The we have turned on all of the chapter communities. The library is there, the calendar is there, the discussion is there. We can massage that however you'd like and take out elements and turn it off completely, or however you want to handle it. We'll be sending a form for you to tell us how you want to use your chapter community if you want to, and identify community administrators. The one thing, and we'll include information in the email, the one on that networks page on the profile where we were looking at Andrew and it said he was a part of the New York City, or the New York network, that comes from his chapter. So that's one reason we would encourage you to keep your chapter community. We can turn off the discussion in the library and the calendar and just have a directory essentially of people in the chapter. It's something to consider, and we'll provide more information on that as we get to that point. And then in August, after we go live, we encourage you to go through and just check any links that you've got on your chapter website and make sure that those are updated to point to the new MySMPS links. They will be different, and the old links probably will not work in most cases. So a few final thoughts before we get to questions and answers. Please be patient. We're still in a beta mode. We're still loading documents in. We're still making changes and tweaking things here and there. So if you run into any trouble, please let us know. But we're not 100% there yet, but we're ready for you guys to start getting in and taking a look. User guides, we are developing some user guides for the members and for chapter leaders to go into very specific things, like how do you update your privacy settings, how do you manage your subscriptions for user end, but then on the chapter level, how do you create an event, how do you create a community, how do you upload a document to the library. Like I said, ask questions. If you've got an idea or something isn't working the way you want it to, please email me or Mary. Our email addresses are there. And then the last thing is thank you. This is a huge transition. We realize that, and there's going to be a learning curve, and there's a lot of communication that goes along with that. But we are really excited about this. It's much faster. It's much easier to use. It looks a lot better, and I think that you and the members will all have a better experience with MySMPS. So with that, we'll get into some questions. Mary?
Believe it or not, I'm looking, and I don't see any hands raised, or there's no questions.
Well, just very quickly, let me just show the events in case people are typing away. So here is the event listing. Like I said, I've only got 3 events in here so far. You can get information on the event, including a description, a registration link, and all that. And there is also, you can click up here at the top where it says View as Calendar, and that will take you to a calendar view. And eventually, once we get all of once chapters start adding events and communities start it, you'll be able to narrow by the community. So if I wanted to see just the SMPS Arizona events, I could do that. Obviously, they don't have any in here right now, but you'll be able to much easier filter the calendar, which is, I know, one of those features that people were asking for a long time on MySMPS.
Mark, we do have a question.
Okay.
Someone's asking, will we be able to upload more than one document at a time in the new program?
Yes, you can do that in several ways. Here's an example. So if I go to the Build Business presentations, so here's this session 102, Growing Your Business with the Help of Technical Staff. One of the nice things is I can attach multiple files to one library entry now. So I've got this session, the session description, and then I've uploaded multiple attachments to that library item. Now, you won't be able to upload a whole batch of files into various library items, but if you wanted to, let's say, upload 25 photos from a golf outing, you can upload them all into one library item, and let's see, you can, I think I can add a note library item here, hold on. So under the new library item, I'd give it a name, test, and it's a standard file upload. I can upload 10 items, upload those, and upload 10 more. So you can continue to add more and more items to one library entry, but you can't upload multiple files to multiple library entries, if that makes sense.
Okay, and we have another question that just said, this looks a lot like SharePoint. Looks like a lot like SharePoint. Does it work the same way?
I'm not entirely sure. I know that the library especially looks a little bit like SharePoint. I've not used SharePoint, so I'm not entirely sure if it works exactly the same way, but there is, this is designed especially for communities, for associations to have communities. I don't entirely know the answer, but I can certainly check into that and find out if they're using a platform based off of SharePoint. But it is not SharePoint, and it is not a SharePoint server.
Another question, will events that we add to the calendar in MySMPS transfer to the national website calendar, the national website? So will there be an RSS feed to the national site?
That is a great question. I will research that. I think that there is a, we can do a feed for, so even chapters can add it to their websites, that we can do an RSS feed for the calendar, and I will make a note of that and check on it. But I believe that, yes, we can provide a feed for calendar events.
Okay. And someone asked, can you repeat the URL? Actually,
sure.
Go ahead.
Let me go back to the PowerPoint. It's www. Actually, you might not even need the W. It's probably I shouldn't have included the www. Just my.smps.org. Forget the www.
So that will take them. My.smps.org will take you to the new site so that you can start getting in. And
yep.
And again, if a chapter has, again, these links, a lot of the chapters on their sites have the MySMPS icon, and we want them to go in there and update it so that it links to my.smps.org. But for the time being, you said if they don't get every link, if they do click a link that is the old mysmps.org, it will redirect them.
Yeah, eventually when we go live and in August, when we make that hard transition, we will create a redirect for the mysmps.org address to go to this to the my.smps.org. So if somebody clicks on a link and or goes to mysmps.org, it will redirect them to the new website. But that won't happen until August when we make the final launch.
Okay, and there was one more question. I see one of the chapter leaders asked, when the library on MySMPS be modified in the same manner as the previous version of MySMPS, meaning you upload a document, you download it, and if you need to make changes, you upload a new version? Or will documents have shared access similar to like a Google Doc?
It will not be the shared document like a Google Doc. It will be a upload, download kind of static document that you will be sharing. So there is potential that two people could download it, make changes, and upload, and you might lose a version. So unfortunately, it's not a checkout kind of system. It is a download, a static document.
Okay. I don't see any other questions or hand raised at this time. But certainly, again, like Mark said, Mark and I both are here to answer any questions that you have. We're very, again, like Mark said, just to reiterate, we're very excited about the new site. It's definitely a more beautiful site. It moves easily. And just making sure when you're sharing this with your members of your chapters, that they remember that the purpose for this community is for them to connect and to use it as a resource. We know, and I know all of you are power users, but making sure that you know that the directory is much more robust, like Mark showed. The searching capabilities, the demographics that you can search under are much more robust, and we're excited about that. The new ribbons that are added, the additional bio information and information that you can add on each member, is laid out much nicer here. So again, you can link to your LinkedIn, your social media sites, and as well as, so we want to direct the members here as often as possible, and to make sure we're talking about MySMPS to the members as often as possible, and making sure that they go to the Marketing Resource Center. That is, one of the most, obviously the highest linked page that people go to on MySMPS, and there's 1,000 or more documents there, resources and tools and links that our members really can take advantage of, and we're always uploading new ones. And now it's so much quicker, it's so much faster to open a document and download it, and search, and the key search word, Mark, is very, I know you showed an example in the Marketing Resource Center, but it's very quick and easy to search for documents that come up, whether it's a career resource or CPSF material or whatever you're looking for. So just making sure you're sharing this new MySMPS with the members as well, and we'll obviously be communicating it to the entire membership as well once the soft launch is complete. So thank you again, Mark, for all the hard work on this, and the rest of the staff, and Kevin and the board. Unless anybody else has a question, can you show, someone asked to show the timeline slide again real quick. And we will, just so you know, to everybody, we will be recording this. This is a recorded webinar, and we'll be sending out the link to this webinar to everyone that's on the call today, as well as other leaders that weren't able to make it, so that you can share it with your board. Oh, go ahead.
And we'll include the slides as well, so you have those, so you have this timeline, and then some about the information that will be transitioned and all that kind of stuff.
Good. So we'll share the actual PowerPoint that you can use, and then the link to the recording if you want to share it with your board members as well. So if there are no other questions, Mark, do you have anything else to add?
Nope. Just thank you for your time, and for being patient as we make this big transition. I know that it's a lot of change for you and for the members and for all your committees and boards and everything, but I think it'll be, in the long run, much worth the investment.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. You have a great day. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.